How's this farm going to function that's in the basement and on the rooftop?
That's a great question. So let me back up and talk about the philosophy of it. It's an experiment, right?
Okay.
As near as we can tell, no one else in the country is doing what we intend to do with the Jubilee Farms with all these various parts. We have the aquaponics farm. It's connected to an affordable housing building. It's a workforce development site for people coming back from incarceration. So the building is under construction right now. Should be finished mid to late August, and we'll get the occupancy permits for the building, which means we can then install the farm equipment, install the actual aquaponics system in the basement and on the rooftop.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Manning. I am Communications Officer with Jubilee Housing, and I am so excited to be here with Will Cribbs from OneWorldFresh. Will, tell us a little bit about why you're here in Washington, D.C., and what your role is with OneWorldFresh.
Absolutely. So I've been working in aquaponics for about 15 years now, and my role with One World is heading the build. So as far as designing plumbing layouts, making sure it gets installed according to our blueprints, that whole side of things.
All right.
And so in DC, it's a lot different than normal because we're having so many issues with getting material in and out.
Okay. That's good. Tell us about the challenges, because we all know that Jubilee Housing has this venture. A venture of Jubilee Housing is Jubilee Farms, and Jubilee Farms is building an aquaponics and hydroponics farm basically in the basement, which is where we are, and on the rooftop of one of our affordable housing buildings. Jubilee Farms, again, will be a separate venture of Jubilee Housing, but that's why you're here, because you work in aquaponics. You are helping to build this custom system for us. So can you just tell us about what makes this project unique or different from some of the other projects that you're a part of?
You just said it. So this is a custom build. So normally we have 3 systems that we build. It's a 240 tower system, 120 tower, and a 60 tower system. So this is completely different. We're in a confined space that was already built. We're not building a greenhouse to our own specs where we have ideal room to do everything.
Okay. So, you started to mention some of the challenges. Can you share anything else about challenges that you're facing as you're building in this confined space?
Just working around some of the pre-existing material that's already here. So some of your roof drain that come down. So we've had to replan out how we're going to do our lighting so we're not getting any shadows from what's already in the roof.
Okay. Wow. All right. A lot to think about. So what do you think this is going to do for the community as far as having this aquaponics and hydroponics system here?
I think it's going to be awesome for the community. So you're looking at about 6,000 plants in towers down here, and then it's going to be another 48 flow-through systems. So he'll be able to grow tomatoes, cucumbers, fruiting crops like that and those. But the 6,000 plants of lettuce he'll be harvesting probably 1,500 every week.
Okay, that's a lot. So definitely an impact to the community. It all feels very exciting, and I know it's a long time coming. We're waiting. We're still in construction phase, but just yeah, this sounds amazing. What else would you like to share about OneWorldFresh and the impact that you guys are having all over, really, because you're doing this work and you have been doing this work?
So probably the biggest impact we make is through Fresh Ministries, our nonprofit. We do a lot of work in South Africa. So right now we have 3 greenhouses up and running over there that we're helping monitor and maintain on a day-to-day basis. And then we're working to build what we're calling a hub. So we'll have a big processing center in the center and then 4 greenhouses surrounding it. And we'll put it on the outskirts of cities so the neighboring farms have somewhere to come process their material and sell it into the markets.
My colleague Michael had a great question for you. So, what are some lessons learned in this kind of project in an affordable housing building or in a confined space? What can you share?
So working in downtown like this, something we should have thought of ahead of is making sure we were going to have some space to store material, whether that be renting fencing and blocking off a couple parking spaces, some type of way to store a material where we didn't have to move everything multiple times.
Okay. All right. Well, that's one lesson learned. I'm sure there'll be more along the way,
Absolutely.
especially as you guys continue, because the basement is just one part. You're also going to be going on the fourth floor and fifth floors to do those as well. And is there anything that's going to be different about those than down here?
So the difference up there, the fourth floor, is not going to be necessarily aquaponics system.
Okay.
So Alex is going to be planting flowers and things like that to make it pretty for the entertainment area. Now
Okay.
on the fifth floor, it's going to be all flow throughs. So he'll be able to grow tons of tomatoes and cucumbers, whatever he wants up there. And what'll be different up there is there won't be fish tanks.
Okay.
So all the fish tanks will be down here on this end, and then we'll pump water from down here up to the fifth floor to fill those systems.
Wow. Okay. So just tell us what are we seeing here?
So what you're seeing right here is going to be trough 1. And the empty space over there will be trough 2. Then you have trough 3, trough 4. So our water runs from our fish tanks into trough 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And then they drain out of the back and circulate into trough 4. And from trough 4, that's where our water pumps back into our fish tanks.
Wow.
So if we walk down here, you kind of see one of the challenges we've had to reframe out this trough because there's drain holes directly underneath it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it wouldn't work out.
It wouldn't work out. Okay.
And then down here,
Mm-hmm.
we have a pump at the beginning of each trough.
Okay.
And that pump will pump up and go through overhead plumbing that will feed all of our towers.
Okay.
So we're in the process now. You can see we've got some holes drilled in the roof. We're
Mhm.
putting our anchors in
Okay.
and getting all of our threaded rod in to hang that.
Okay.
You will have 3 fish tanks over here. And you'll have one stove right here.
Okay.
And there'll be a fish tank stove here and one more down there. And each fish tank is 8 foot wide and 3 foot tall. So that'll be 1,500 gallons of water in each fish tank.
Wow. Thank you, Will, for sharing with us exactly what you're doing down here in the basement. I can't wait until this is complete, until everything is connected. I will appreciate you being here. Thanks again for your time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all for having us.
Thank you for joining us today on Jubilee Housing's podcast, On Air with Jubilee Housing. It has been fascinating to look at a tower being built, to see what is happening in the farm. We are so excited. Jubilee Farms is happening. It is coming along. We're not growing just yet, but we are so close because we are installing right now. Things are happening. A lot of construction is going on. And as you can see, we have some grow towers and about the same height as I am. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll be updating you really soon on when we're actually growing some things, but we'll keep you updated on construction in the meantime. Thank you for joining us.
And so we know that people need housing for sure. They also need access to good food. And yes, there are grocery stores around here. We know that. But we are, through Jubilee Farms, just offering another way for people to have good food on their tables.